Okay. Oh, on the screen to. Right, so alive again. I don't think I'm going to sleep well tonight. What happened is I decided I was going to start a diet, and then in response to that acknowledgement, I have taken it upon myself to eat a whole lot of food. It's almost like a reflexive action, the anticipation of, um, you know, reducing my calorie count. My body's like, oh, okay, let's just eat everything that we possibly can. So uh, I've been left with too much energy to sleep tonight, that my stomach is too full. So I want to talk about this issue of temptation. And the reason I want to discuss it is because I just want to talk about some real life examples. Um, Even an example from a few hours ago. So earlier, and I think it was October, I had a week off from work. And during this time, I was using this app where you interact with people looking to go on dates and things like this. And through that app, I've met some interesting people. But yesterday, um, I was invited out by a girl who wanted to take me to her house under the pretense of a Netflix and chill kind of situation. And I was lying in my bed and I was tired, I was tired. And, I got thinking because I was in the own way where I felt like, I could go out, couldn't I? I could just go out and it would be something to do. But if I end up going out with this person who's going to pick me up and drive me to their place, you know, one thing could lead to the other. There could be a situation there. And do I really want to get ensnared in such a situation? As I was lying in my bed, I had my phone on me, and on my phone, I had First Peter and Second Peter. And as I lay there, I just began to read through First and Second Peter. And what Peter's trying to communicate to his audience is that they should remain faithful to all the good things of the Spirit. It says, therefore, gird up the loins of your mind, be sober, and rest your hope fully upon the grace that is to be brought to you at the revelation of Jesus Christ, as obedient children, not conforming yourselves to the former lusts, as in your ignorance, but as he who called you is holy, you also be holy in all your conduct, because it is written, be holy, for I am holy. So I'm reading through the book of First and Second books of First and Second Peter, well, the epistles, and I just thought to myself, no, like there's no way I can, in good conscience, go out and see this person. And sometimes when you're feeling quite tired, well, when I'm feeling quite tired, I can feel myself in a more vulnerable and susceptible condition. But I just felt restrained from doing anything so impulsive, particularly as I was reading through this these epistles, and I wasn't feeling particularly motivated to read through them. I just found myself entranced by the words. And so I thought I would discuss this idea of temptation, and how it works in our lives, and how we how we should navigate it. Um, First thing to do is not put yourself in a situation where you will be tempted. No, I don't know if that's true. See, I don't know if that's true. Yes, there are certain situations where you will find yourself more susceptible to temptation. I found that, you know, in certain controlled environments, I can conduct myself very well and go without committing any kind of obvious act of sin. And I could do that forever. But is that really life? Am I really testing myself? If I've really grown, if I'm really maturing in the spirit, then I should feel um, like an impenetrable fortress. I should be able to walk out into the world and not be afraid of being overwhelmed by any kind of temptation because I've girded up my mind, the loins of my mind. Okay, so yeah, that that old chestnut. So yeah, I spared myself today from going out. Truth be told, I never really had the appetite for any kind of impassioned. I don't want to use my words. I don't want to say any ridiculous words. I didn't want to go out and get any kind of a. I don't want to. Some ridiculous words coming into my head. I don't want to say them. It's too late in the day. But you know that where you get a bit tired and you just want to say silly things. No, I'm going to try and avoid it. Yeah, so I didn't want to go out and get myself in any kind of situation like that. Any kind of sexual exploits didn't really appeal to me. But I have been talking about this high school teacher that's been showing me a lot of affection, and I'll just get this is going to get really graphic. This is going to get really transparent. I'll say it's not graphic, just transparent, and she'll never see this, so it's fine. But she confessed to me that she has a condition which makes it nigh impossible for her, or at least really difficult for her, to even have any kind of intercourse. And I think that's a fantastic thing. I think that's a healthy thing, you know, because it means that, when a man and a woman come together, there can sometimes be an inflaming of the imagination, a certain drive towards a romantic embrace. But in this situation, with this particular individual, such an action couldn't transpire, even if all the passions were inflamed. And I think that's a very interesting situation to find yourself in. And I think it allows you to really get to know a person. And I can see a lot of merit to that. You know, I find that in relationships these days, it can be, I don't know, just all too soon that people find themselves um, getting, why am I being a child about this? Getting lonely. And I just feel like you can lose something doing that. You can lose yourself in that. You know, it can go a bit pear shaped, and it shouldn't be something that's rushed into at all. And it just ends up with people getting hurt, you know. And yeah, I feel like if you're gonna be together with someone, you have to make sure that there's a good foundation there built upon something more than just the physical stuff, you know? There should be some heart to it. I think that's the most important aspect. Um, so yeah, so there is this idea of avoiding circumstances. There's the expression, if you don't want to eat a cookie, don't go into the kitchen. I think it's said a different way. I think it's said like, I don't know. That's the gist of it. If you don't want to eat cookies, then don't go into the kitchen, right? But nah, if you don't want to eat cookies, don't eat cookies. You can go into the kitchen, but just don't eat cookies. I think that's a healthier place to get to. Maybe at first, don't go into the kitchen, but you should grow some kind of resilience there. I remember when I was a teenager and I was like 14 stone, and I thought to myself, man, I'm too heavy. And what I would do is I would get a Snickers bar or a marathon bar, I don't know what you call them, Snickers, and I would place it on the kitchen counter and I would stare it down and I would look at it. I would take it out of the wrapper and I would break it open and get a nice cross section of caramel, peanuts, and that nice soft chocolate mallow covered in milk chocolate. I'd look at it and then I would throw it in the bin, the whole thing, without even tasting it. And you might think to yourself, wow, what a waste of food. But it was so empowering to me at the time because there it was. I took the very thing that was tempting me, I took it out of the wrapper, held it in my hands, and then I threw it away. And I found that to be a very empowering experience. And I would go to do that a few more times, until such a time that I was able to exercise self control and not have to um, contend with the chocolates. I wouldn't have to wrestle the chocolates anymore. I would be able to just leave them alone like a sane person. So yeah, that's what I did. I was able just to leave them alone. And yeah, I think that's the empowering thing to do. It's almost like exposure therapy, isn't it? Um, but I think that's the thing about growing in maturity, and not destroying yourself when you fall folly to temptations, because we can do this. We can sometimes fall short of the standard we set for ourselves, which is no less than perfection. And well, we understand that to operate in love is to be perfect. It covers a multitude of sins. It is the way, the truth, and the life. That is what God is. And we should try to tap into that and understand that as deeply and as profoundly as we can. Um, so yeah, we should say no to temptation, but maybe not focus on just saying no to temptation. We should say I to opportunities that present themselves to us, opportunities to bring something good into people's lives. And that's another aspect of interacting with new people. When you interact with new people and you develop relationships with these people, you um, have the opportunity to leave something with them, you know, something meaningful. And it's not always easy to do, and it won't always be done. But I think it's a nice approach, right? Other than just seeing them as an obstacle, other than just seeing another human being as someone to say no to, we should see other people um, as greenwood, right? Kindling. We should see them as beacons ready to be set ablaze. Now, Are these the ramblings of a madman who just wants to set people on fire? No, what I mean by this is common Christian convention of being a radiant light on a hill. And I think that we should set people on fire. No, I think that we should set people on fire for the Lord, for the Lord. And that is a worthwhile investment of time. Um, because when I reflect on the opportunities that have been lost through spoiled relationships, my heart breaks because I think of I don't know, I do think on this ministry of reconciliation, and I look for that wee divine spark in everyone. I do. And what I find now is that whoever I spend time with, just a brief wee interaction, half an hour, something like that, I can genuinely come to appreciate them, you know? And I think it has a lot to do with my friends having a baby. I look at this wee baby and it looks at me, and it'll give me a smile and I'll try and copy its facial expressions and I think it'll, mimic mine and will just the way it looks. It's such a cute wee baby. And just understanding that everyone used to be like this wee baby and have grown up and had all their experiences, good and bad. And some people have some really bad experiences and some really good experiences. And here they are sat in front of me, this wonderful individual, this young woman, this man, whoever. And I'll just sit and listen to them say their piece. I'll just sit and listen to them talk. And as I try and get into the mindset of being a Christ like person, you know, not to think too highly of myself, but to try and be a spiritual being and listen to this person speak. And I almost think of myself as some kind of agent of God, listening to a prayer, listening to a meditation of the mind, listening to this other person share a little part of their experience with me. And my heart swells, and I think to myself, oh, this is a person. And not in a condescending way, not in like, like, oh, this is a person, this is a little human being. Like as if I'm some kind of archangel or something like this. I mean it in the most loving and affectionate way, like, wow, wow. I'm a person too, but I'm someone who's feeling his love for this other individual. And yeah, it's something I think is quite beautiful. It's something that needs to be navigated carefully because, yeah, I don't know. There was that experience with the girl Julia, and she said no. She said no to me as a person and just scratched me out of her life. And it's a shame because I know her wee haunts, and these are wee bars that are popular with my friends too. So it's not like I'll never encounter her again in my life, which just makes it very strange and ragged, you know? And I did say to her, well, look, if you were thinking about pursuing a relationship with me, then, I'm not so keen on that either. I wouldn't mind just being like a friend. And if you'd like to meet up and discuss it, I think that would be a productive course. And she was just like, no, I don't think that would be a good idea. And so I said, okay, I wish you all the best in your future endeavors. And left it there. And it's a wee shame because I don't really feel like there was great opportunity there to impart much. There was a little exploration of faith, you know, and I don't know if she found that off putting or whatever, but aye, it's always a wee bit sore when someone says no to you. But I think that's again growing in maturity, and not to see that as like a personal attack or some kind of um, negative energy to imbibe. I think you just leave it there because everyone's on their own journey, and if you know, like, I don't know, but I would imagine that someone who you've met on a dating app is probably dating other people, and they're trying to work out who they want to spend their time with. And if I'm not coming across as someone that wants to date you, then why would you want to invest the time with me? So I understand it on that level. But it just annoys me, when there's a romantic subtext that it just kind of spoils the whole thing because I'm much more interested in meeting individuals and getting to know them than squirreling around some romantic, weird interaction. Um, I don't know. Not that that's completely devoid of its charms and all the rest of it. I think it can be quite a nice way to spend time, but yeah, it can be a tricky way too. But anyway, that's just romance. That's just relationships. There's more to life than that, and there's more um, ways that temptation can work in our lives. Um, yeah, so I have this little stretch of freedom now to spend my time doing that which I will, and I need to question what it is I want to do with that time. And I've decided I want to lend it to spiritual pursuits, but also very creative pursuits too. And as I go down these avenues, there will be temptations. There'll be different things that I find attractive and different things that pull on my time. And there'll be places I want to go. And I'll need to decide, like, what's the best way to spend my time. Hmm. So, saying no to temptation is a meditation in itself, isn't it? Because you have to be prayerful about where it is you're going, what it is you're doing. And I think we inclinations toward our calling in life. I think we're built for certain things. We all have our different capacities, our different abilities, and they're just there, aren't they? We just sort of have these innate interests in things, and it would be remiss for us just to ignore them. So I think if you follow your heart uh, in a sensible way, you'll find your way, you know? And that comes with maturity too. Because I feel the younger you are, you can be a bit more impressionable, a bit more naive, and the longings of your heart um, can be quite shallow. They can be quite undeveloped. And I think that's the process of growing into maturity. We have these episodes of pain and despair that come about from discovering the dead end we've walked ourselves down. And we can stick in that dead end and lament about just how dead an end it is, or we can take the advice of Christ and John the Baptist and repent, turn back, come out from the dead end, and get back on the highway. And that's it. Life is a highway. You just got to ride it, you know, all night long. That's a song. That is a song right there. Terrible song. um, yeah. Since you have purified your souls in obeying the truth through the Spirit in sincere love of the brethren, love one another fervently with a pure heart, having been born again, not of corruptible seed, but incorruptible, through the word of God which lives and abides forever. Because all flesh is as grass, and all the glory of man as the flower of the grass. The grass withers, and its flower falls away, but the word of the Lord endures forever. Now, this is the word which by the gospel was preached to you. Yeah, man. And it's such a beautiful unification of all things, too. And such a serenity of mind to be found there. To put yourself in God, to be part of God, one with that Spirit, is to find yourself in unity with all things. All things. And there's no loss in that, is there? There's no loss in that. And you can see past the imperfections, not just those of yourselves, not just of your own failings, anything that would peck at your resolve. You can see past all that. But you can see past all other people's issues too. And you can see the best of them and in them and through them. You see that wee divine spark in yourself and in others, and you can nurture it, you know? And I've seen that in some of my closest friendships. Well, I say my closest friendships. The people I spend most of my time with in person, there's only two of them. And I can tell that whenever I'm with these people, there's a kindling of love. We just spend that time sometimes just kindling love between us, you know? And it's really nice. It's a really nice environment. It's something you can invite people into, you know? It's like finding a wee secret treasure in a wee cave, and you and your friends know about it, and it's like, yeah, I'm going to bring somebody else in to see this, you know? And then they come in, and it's nice, you know? It's that wee nice thing. It's that wee nice impressionable idea. You know, when you're really young and you have an idea of something that's really wholesome and good and just festive and lovely. And then as you grow older, it doesn't seem quite as good. Well, before that, before it doesn't seem quite as good, that lovely wonderfulness of it all. I can remember being a child in my nana's house and just how big everything seems when you're 3 feet tall, you know? And the tinsel coming out and the way my nana would decorate her room with this tinsel, these jellyfish like creations made out of this shiny paper that she would hang from the ceiling and all the rest of it, deck the walls and all that. And the smell of it. And just how weird it is as a child. Because you perceive something's happening, something different's happening, and we're marking the event with these strange, ornate things. And this is a tradition, this is something we do, you know? And you're trying to piece it all together in your mind, and it's so wonderful. And you notice the disposition of the people around you changing as well. And it kind of just gets ingrained, you know? Well, I don't know, there's a wee something magical about all that. And you can feel that in a more purified and raw form that's just lovely. You know, when you're with friends and you're just bonding and nurturing, kindling that wee spark of divinity. I think that's how you avoid I think that's how you say no to temptation. Actually, I think it's the reorientation of the mind towards those more lovely things. You know, but then there's a wee break in my heart again. You know, because when I think about the times people say no to me because of something I've done or because of who I was or who I am, and I think to myself, I'm moving forward, I'm growing towards things. Have hope, have faith, see the best in me, give me the benefit of the doubt. I'm growing and I'm seeing all these wonderful things and I want to share them with everyone. But then people have said no, and I don't get to share my joy with the people that I've grown to know that have rejected me, and it makes me feel sad. It reminds me of a story I was told once when I was in a youth organization here in the UK called the Boys Brigade. My brothers are in the Boys Brigade. I never attended until I was in my teenage years and thought, I want to go too. And I was an officer in the Boys Brigade. And I had my own battalion. I wasn't really a battalion. You had your own group. And we would stand at attention. I would stand at ease. And then some church elder would read us a story. And he had his book of Christian stories. And he would read us the story. And it was set in the winter time. And a young man opened his door. There was lots of snowfall. It was really cold. You can picture it being something like Chicago, considering the story, because there was these cats that were outside. And I remember seeing a news story from Chicago where the animals were frozen stiff in the snow. They had perished in the snow, like just dead mid pace. So this young man's looking out and sees these two cats and he calls to them. He's like, come here, come here, come here. But the cats don't. In fact, the cats react fearfully to the voice calling to them, and they just stray off into the snow. And the young man closes the door, crestfallen, and thinks, man, that sucks. I wanted those cats to come in here and be safe, but they didn't come. And so they're going to die in the snow. And that is how we began our sessions at that youth club with a big downer. Um, but yeah, no, it really stuck with me. That haunted me. I really need to speak to a therapist about that. But no, the wee cat said no. And so they didn't get to enjoy the warmth and the heat in the house. And that's a wee shame, isn't it? But then I remember the oneness and the unity of the spirit and all my personal failings and flaws and how that's played out and affected different people. All that stuff will get burnt up. All that stuff will be, you know, chaff. And only the best of me will be left. And only the best of others too. And we'll rejoice in that truth, that all the immaturity will be blown away by the wind. All the silliness that caused strivings and bad words and mean spiritedness. That will all be gone. It reminds me of something else I was once commenting on one time. Um, I made the comment that, those of us who are fortunate enough to have known love in our families, we'll say that a parent or a guardian is the best one of their kind ever. So someone will comment and say, I've got the best mom ever. I love my mom so much. She's the best. And, you know, it made me think, like, yeah, Okay, your mom is the best in the world, but so is mine, and so is this person's, and so is this person's, and so is this person's. And the common denominator between them all is not their name, it's not their physical attributes, it's the love and the care. And so we can really know each other through that. Although it's not the same name and it's not the same physical attributes, it's almost the same person at the core, or rather, the same spirit, you know? And of course, there is a natural love that is almost, in a sense, beneath the kind of spiritual love that we're called to. But I don't know if you would want to say that exactly. I don't know if that's a point I could flesh out in a video tonight. Let's just say they're the one and the same for now, you know? And in that way, we kind of know the best of each other, because I don't know your mum, but I'm sure she's the best mum in the world because of the love that she's shown you, just as mine has shown me, or your father, or whatever, whoever it is in your life that's made that impact. I've experienced that love too, and so I've experienced a little bit the same thing that you've experienced, and it all comes from the same place. And that's cool. That's really cool. I've just been really okay with things. I just need to straighten out my act a little bit more with regards to certain things. Well, it's not really with regards to certain things at all. Like it's some mystery to me. I just need to really settle myself on, I don't know, I guess I'll be 31 next week. And I do consider my age and I do consider the desire I have a family. And that can be a wee bit tumultuous in the heart, trying to work through those emotions and think about where I want to settle down and who with and all the rest of it. That's the one wee thing that kind of gets to me still. So it's not so mysterious, not as mysterious as I would make out. But, you know, except from that, I kind of, except from that huge thing, I've kind of found myself. And I found myself in a position of really getting it. Like, I don't fear death. I'm not intimidated by anything, nothing spiritually, nothing worldly. Sure, I still have my wee anxieties and stuff like that. And those are just kind of like wee visceral, unconscious things that I can't really exercise much control over. Like, well, I mean, to a degree, I can. I can feel a symptom sometimes that would provoke a bit of anxiety. I can choose not to manifest the anxiety, but I'll still feel the symptom because I can't control the unconscious ways of my body. But as I chill out more and more, that should all, you know, stop being a thing. But yeah, no, I just feel so relaxed and so at peace with everything. But I can tell something's a little off. But I think that's just natural offness. The fact it's nearly 5 a.m. and I'm eating too much and I'm not sleeping normal hours. Is that a thing? Should I be concerned about that? I don't think so. I think I've just been tired and I'm trying to mix up. And again, I've told myself I'm going on a diet, and so my body's kind of just trying to overcompensate by making me very hungry. But, you know, I'm going to get in that gym today, actually. Yeah. So that'll be fun. Yeah, saying no to temptation. It's a real thing. Yep. Sorry, I sometimes don't pay attention enough to my comments. Sonic Grace. Yep, kindling. Me too, really. I see the good. Yeah, it's good to see the good in people and to encourage the good in people. And in relationships, we interact in other person's world. Yep. Jesus gives us a new heart now. We can trust it. There is peace, hope. Yeah, you know, I do try my best to see the best in other people, and and to see the best in myself too, and to try and nurture that. And it's important to understand the best in yourself and not to let yourself be misguided by thinking that you are the sum of other people's opinions on yourself. You know, you really have to have a better idea of who you are as a person. And I believe that develops in time too. We hear about the horribleness of social media and the effect it can have on young persons as they develop um, certain dysfunctions of the mind, where they become depressed or suffer with low self esteem because they don't seem to be having these fantastic social lives. But, you know, all that stuff that's posted online, these are carefully curated, uh, just, what do you call it? A collage of pictures picked out to try and inflate the energy and the wonderment of an otherwise bleak and pedestrian life. It's like people are trying to hit spiritual highs through carnal means, and it can't be done. It can't be done. Honestly, like, there is no party, there is no music, there is no sound, no color, there's no song, no lyric that I would exchange for that wee experience I had tonight or last night when I was out on my bike and the moon was waxing, that new slither, that little crescent. And there was the stars and the different stratas of blue and that little burst of apricot on the horizon, or cantaloupe, I should say. Um, it's these beautiful colors, just a fruit salad in the sky, as I say. Aye, man, that was something else. That was beautiful. And that realization that although this is quite an intimidating and disconcerting sight in terms of its grandeur and indifference, that I had the secret, I had the truth, that we are so much more important than these physical things, that we are bigger than the universe. And this is true, reconciled to God. Yeah, definitely. And that just filled me with such hope and such happiness. I like the way that um, the apostles describe themselves as dwelling in tents. Like, these are our tents, or what they would probably say, using today's language, avatars, right? Like, these are our avatars. Or does that? I think that's old language, isn't it? The avatar, doesn't that come from one of the Eastern faiths? But we have these avatars, these suits that we indwell to work out a life. Aye. And I've worked out a lot of stuff. I feel like I've worked out a bunch of stuff. I don't propose that I know everything. I'm 30 years old. I don't know what it is to have a thought at 40 or 50. I don't know what it's like to reflect on a memory that's over 40 years old, you know. That's a wonderful experience that I haven't had yet. Um, so I don't know. I think the world has a lot to offer people. Yeah. I think that's why we come into this world, isn't it? To go through this experience and to you know, some people think that we give up certain understandings and knowledge and come into this world born ignorant, and we try and learn anew from this perspective all that we can. Then there's the risk that we won't. There's the risk that we'll just end up what one of my friends refers to as a deadhead. And a deadhead, as they describe it, is someone who becomes enthralled with the things of the world. A carnal person, you know, a deadhead. um, that would be like, in the Gnostic understanding, there's the three types of persons. There's the hylic, the pneumatic. I forget, but the one that's at the lowest uh, tier, that'd be a deadhead. And that's the risk that we might come into this world and just become bedazzled by all the glitter and shiny things that are in the world. I don't know how anyone can live like that. And you kind of see people that live like that, and it just seems like they're living in a crisis of anxiety. It just seems like, oh my goodness, how can you go on? That must be exhausting, trying to live a lifetime and trying to derive meaning from just the plain stuff, the material that you can just immediately interact with before you. You want there to be deeper things, things hinted at through our emotions and thoughts and meditations. We want to pursue those kinds of deeper things. Um, yeah. So yeah, I think that's the right way to see it. It's not just about saying no. It's about saying aye to opportunities, saying aye to people, saying aye to God, orientating your mind towards loftier things and inviting other people into those loftier things. That's the way to do it. Yeah. So I find myself at 5 a.m. on a Saturday morning, and I don't know what it's doing. I said, Alexa, light off.
Okay.
It's still dark. Alexa, light on.
Okay.
So I don't know when the sun rises in Scotland at this time of year. We're getting to the darkest days now. So let's see. Sunrise, Scotland. Um, okay, the sun rises at. Where is this? This is not helpful. It's not helpful at all. There we go. What? Ah, it sucks. So the sun doesn't rise until 8:15, and then the sun sets at 3:45. So we have about 7 hours of daylight in Scotland at this time of year. A mere 7 hours. That's why they say you have to supplement vitamin D in this country and in other countries like this. Otherwise, you're gonna suffer a wee bit. It can affect your mental health. But then I think we would lose our Scottish charm, that charming pessimism. um, there's something called Scottish common sense. Scottish common sense. It's got its own Wikipedia page. Yeah, it's called Scottish Common Sense Realism. also known as the Scottish School of Common Sense. It's a realist school of philosophy that originated in the ideas of the Scottish philosophers Thomas Reid, Adam Ferguson, James Beattie, and Douglas Stewart during the 18th century Scottish Enlightenment. Reid emphasized man's innate ability to perceive common ideas and that this process is inherent in and interdependent with judgment. Common sense, therefore, is the foundation of philosophical inquiry, though best remembered for its opposition to the pervasive philosophy of David Hume. Scottish common sense philosophy is influential and evident in the works of Thomas Jefferson and late 18th century American politics. Well, there you go. There you go. I'm not going to read too much into that. That's my common sense judgment. It's rooted in Aristotelian thought and advocates an empirical and scientific philosophy wherein trust of our senses is implicit and necessary. Okay. Okay. Yep. I'm not going to get into all that. Right. I think that's it. I think that's me said my wee piece there. I don't know if there's anything else to say on the topic. Yeah, just avoid temptation through the purifying of your mind, and yeah, I need to find my bank card. I've only got this um, credit card here. I don't know what I've done with my bank card, so I need to find that. Yeah, I should go. I don't want to go. I'd love to hang out a bit longer, but I better go and do something productive. It's 5 a.m. I need to go and maybe go a wee bicycle ride or something like that. Then come in and sleep for a few hours and try and have a productive day. Alrighty. Thank you for watching, everyone. I'm going to call it a night here. And yeah, really today the big success I feel. It wasn't today, was it? It was a wee while ago now. Maybe over 24 hours. But I just enjoyed that video I made about the 1,000-year reign. I think that's one that will gather a lot of traction because if people just search 1,000-year reign preterism into their search engines, that video will come up. So I think it'll get a good few hits, and I hope it does. The wee testimony video I made as well. It's not a little one. It's like an hour long. I feel like that was quite an important video too. I just sort of made that on a whim. Had a few ideas of what I would say, and I think it really presents the preterist disposition in a nice light. And then this video I just made because I'm just refusing to sleep. So thank you again for watching, and yeah, I'm gonna try and make another YouTube channel that's got nothing to do with spiritual pursuits. It's going to be just a creative outlet, just to see how that goes. I just feel like I'd be able to put something out there that's a bit more creative and artsy, like we kind of like short films, really rustic, wee indie things, with a few friends. And terrible. They'll be terrible and cringy. Hopefully not. I'll try and get some real emotion on there, but I don't know. I feel like I've got a wee idea how to market it properly and all the rest of it. Like, I don't know. I find like it's quite easy actually to try and make a wee drop in the ocean with entertainment. It can be hard. It can seem hard, but I feel like if you try, it's not so difficult. Like when I did that, trying to raise awareness for mental health, I just jumped onto Twitter and started messaging different Scottish celebrities, letting them know, hey, David Tennant, hey, Chris Hoy, hey, different people who've done things that are Scottish. Check this out. And then like some poets and stuff like that, because you don't want to just go for A list. You want to hit Z list too, and then just somebody might notice you then. And then when I did that, the radio station got in contact with me, and I don't know how. I don't know who it was or what they saw, but the local radio station found out about my little idea, and now I have to go to Glasgow and get interviewed at their main studio at the Clyde. So, and then and then like just talking to people there, who knows, I might meet someone with a similar interest in creative things and just see where it goes for there. But I'd like to just spend a year making that my full intent because I would love to do that. I've always had a wee passion for entertainment. And at the same time, just pursue some more terrestrial ideas. I would like to try and pursue a career in ministry. I think that'd be a really rewarding thing to do. So I'm going to see how that plays out. But in the meantime, I better go do some other things that don't involve sitting here and blethering away as much as I like to have a wee blether. So I'll leave you out there. God bless you too, Sonic Grace. All the best. See you soon.